Hello, welcome to today's upload. Today we're going to look at sentence types in English. If you're learning English, we need to be able to write in sentences. We need a variety of sentences. Sentence types make our English sound better. It helps our creative writing, our transactional writing, all writing styles we need to write in sentences. So, let's look at the main types of sentences. So, remember, sentence variety is the key. We need our sentences to be interesting. So we can use simple, compound, complex, and compound complex. They are the basics, the four sentences that we need in our English. So the first sentence, simple sentence, the easiest. A simple sentence, it has a subject, a noun, it has an action, a verb, a doing word, a verb. It stands alone. It is an independent clause, and what that means is it makes sense by itself. Now, an independent clause, you may have learned that as a main clause. A main clause, an independent clause, they are the same thing. So examples, it could be as basic as he ran. The subject, the noun is he, and the action, the verb is ran. He ran. He ran to school. The student quickly ran to school. The yellow is a noun, and the green is the verb. They all stand alone, they all make sense by themselves, they are all independent clauses. Now we can move on and make a compound sentence. Compound sentence has two independent clauses. The two clauses can be joined with either a comma, a semicolon, or a conjunction. So yellow is the independent clause, green is the connective, the comma, the semicolon, the conjunction. He ran to school and he arrived on time. The student practiced her sentences. She passed the test. Notice we do not need a capital letter in the second independent clause because we have joined it with a comma, a semicolon, or a conjunction. Two simple sentences joined together with a connective, a conjunction. So think two simple sentences and join them together with a comma, a semicolon, or a conjunction. The next sentence, it gets a little bit more complicated now. We have complex sentence. We must have at least one independent clause, a main clause, and one dependent clause, also known as a subordinate clause. So, a subordinate clause, if we look on the video, the upload on the different clauses, you will see a breakdown of what clauses we can use in English and how we use them, but a dependent clause does not make sense on its own. It needs an independent clause to help it make its sense. So we can either put the dependent at the beginning or at the end. It doesn't matter which way around you do it. However, if you do the dependent clause first, the blue, you must have the punctuation. If you do the independent clause first, you don't need the punctuation after it. So here's an example of the dependent clause first. So dependent clause first, we put a comma to join them together. Because the student practiced her sentences, she passed the test. Because the student practiced her sentences, it needs something else. It doesn't make sense by itself, so it's the dependent. It depends on she passed the test to make it make sense. So we have the dependent and the independent. The other way around, having a late night is a bad idea because I will miss the alarm. Because I will miss the alarm does not make sense. Because what? Because I will miss the alarm, but having a late night is a bad idea because I will miss the alarm. So we have our complex sentences. Now we have a compound complex sentence. It is more or less the same as a complex sentence. The only difference is we use two independent clauses, two main clauses, and one subordinate clause. So a compound complex is we have more than one independent clause. And we can put it in whatever order we like. We can play about with the order of dependence, independence, as long as we have two independents and one clause. So the student worked hard, and although she struggled, she passed the test. The student worked hard, and although she struggled, she passed the test. Dependent, independent, dependent. Remember, the yellow, the independent. The student worked hard, she passed the test. Although she struggled, does not make sense by itself, although she struggled. So therefore it is the dependent clause. So a quick breakdown on the sentences. He ran to school. Simple sentence. He ran to school and he arrived on time. Compound sentence. Two simple sentences joined together with the conjunction. Because the student practiced her sentences, she passed the test. Complex sentence. Compound complex sentence is the last one. The student worked hard, and although she struggled, she passed the test. And that is a breakdown of the four main sentence types that we need to use in order to improve our English language. Try to use a variety. If we write in paragraphs, try to include maybe one of each as practice. Simple, compound, complex, compound, complex. Please like, subscribe, and look at the other videos that I am daily uploading at the moment, and we cover a variety of English techniques and types. If you have any queries, any questions, or would like a certain type of video uploaded, please write in the comments below.